Okay, Graham. So now you were living in Brooklyn while Grandpa Gehshan was in Philadelphia, and then you were in Brooklyn. And then how long did that last? And then what happened next?
Well, he was unhappy with the situation. He wanted us to live as a family, not this commuting business. So he looked and found a very lovely apartment in Croydon, which was attractive to him because it was a former mansion and had a huge lawn, absolutely beautiful lawn with lots and lots of big oak trees, elm trees, and room for a garden. So we moved there, and it was just a really happy thing because he was visualizing being able to Gloria could go outside and play in the lawn.
How old was Mommy at this time?
She was about 2, maybe 2.5, and she was, I would say, fairly good size. She was about normal for her age, but the neat thing was that the huge building had been divided into apartments. So every family in every apartment had a little kid. So the Burris family lived in the first apartment. They had Anne, who was a little younger than Gloria. Then there was Patty, who lived across the hall from us. She was a year older than Gloria. They had a swing set for her so the kids could swing. And there was Mrs. Lanier, who had a little Eddie. And when we ladies would get their kids dressed, and we'd go downstairs and socialize, and the children would play, and basically Gloria would go up to a kid and push him over. I'm saying this because that was the way they got acquainted. But anyway, they did okay. And this was a nice situation. And then, of course, by March of 1950, I gave birth to Gail. So we had Gail when we lived there. And on the day that I gave birth to Gail, I was feeling poorly, but fairly energetic. So we had a man who delivered milk to the door. So I ordered extra milk. And we had a bread man who came with a basket full of all assorted breads and rolls. So I ordered extra things from him. And Anne, the little 1-year-old, Barbara Barris's daughter, was going to have a birthday party. She was a year old that day. So I let Gloria go to the birthday party, and I called my husband and told him to get home from work, that I had to go to the hospital. So he did, and I went to Nazareth Hospital, which was not too far away, but it was in Philadelphia. So I had the baby there, although I was supposedly not supposed to have that baby for a couple of months. She was supposedly about, not 2 months, maybe 6 weeks early. So they didn't do anything for me. They wanted to wait and see what happened. So I laid there for a long time. In the meantime, Nick got my mother on the phone, persuaded her to get on the train and come down and be there to take care of Gloria. So of course she did that, and he and Gloria met her at the train, and in the meantime I started to have labor pains, and I did have the baby, and she was not premature at all, but we had just made some the calculations in the arrival time.
Were you scared?
Not really, but I was annoyed because the doctor didn't come when I needed him. He didn't come. He had office hours, so he never came to help me until his office hours were done. So as a result, she was practically born on a stretcher in the hall. And when he finally came, I don't think he took very good care of me. I laid out in the hall, and they didn't have a bed for me, and nobody was paying any attention to me, so I caught a very bad cold. I was in the draft, and I caught a cold, and as a result, I started coughing a lot, and any stitches that I had from the delivery, I coughed so hard that they fell out.
Oh no!
So I never had a good healing process. But anyway, she was an extremely good-looking baby, very, very pale and sweet and delicate-looking, and about normal as far as weight was concerned. Had she been a preemie, she would have been a little scrawny runt, but she was perfectly formed and very, very, very pretty, very attractive baby. So then my mother was at the apartment and taking care of Gloria, which of course Gloria loved. And I came home from the hospital, but Gail was a difficult baby. She didn't seem to like any of the food. So I tried to breastfeed her, but I gave up almost immediately because she screamed and yelled all the time. And as a result, when she was about 6 weeks old, we introduced formula with oatmeal in it, with cereal in it, to fill her up, try to get her to be happy and stop crying. So she cried an awful lot every night. As a result, she slept all day long. She never gave me any trouble at all. I just put her down and she'd sleep, so I'd get her ready to go downstairs. I'd take Gloria downstairs, take the carriage downstairs, take the laundry downstairs. Took me about 5 trips, but then I'd get to my friends in the backyard with their kids, and we all hung clothes on the clothesline. And about this time, Nick decided he wanted to have a garden, so our landlord said, sure, you can have a garden. So he got somebody to plow up a spot, and he started with his first garden, which was a big success. And then he built a chicken coop, which was another interesting thing, because he raised chickens. He had permission.
In this apartment building complex?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was just an old, beautiful, a beautiful old colonial mansion, big enough to have 4 apartments in it. So then we had these things going on for us. But in the meantime, we heard about this property that was for sale in Southampton, and we investigated. We found out it was a good buy, and we made plans to build a house. So that was how we the transition from Croydon to Southampton.
And Croydon's very close to Southampton.
It's not far. It's probably 15, 20 miles.
And he was still working at the same place?
Still worked at Roman Haas. And I had the 2 kids. And
so when did you start building the house?
Well, I think it was about 1952, or maybe about 1951 or 52, we moved from Croydon. And at that point, the house was not built. Well, but it was
Who built the house?
It was a rough shell, but it was July, so we didn't need any heat yet. So during the summer, we had a heating firm come in and put in the heating. We didn't have electricity the first couple of weeks. That little by little, everything got put in.
But who did the building primarily?
Well, he hired a team of builders who came in and did the cinder blocks. They laid the foundation, which is cement, and the footings, which would be at the area around the house, which I think the footings have to be tarred and waterproof. And he hired somebody, actually builders, to do the